Okay, so just trying to continue from where I left off in CTT. The reason the video abruptly ended is it was so hot in the car that my phone overheated. So it stopped and was like, hey, it's too hot. You can't use the camera. It's February. 4 weeks ago, that entire area was covered in snow and ice. And now, no, at like 10:30, it's way too hot for you to be able to record a video. That's just insane and just like really uh, but I still wanted to finish the video and kind of finish the thought that I had, which I almost had kind of just started. I was talking about orichalcum, and I was talking about how I had recently, I think on Monday, gotten a new review for the book that had essentially said, while I really like the characterization, I do wish the plot had more of a focus. When the plot was focused on, it was really interesting, and I do want to see what happens going forward. And I was saying, like, I think that's a valid take. It's something that I kind of thought myself while writing the book. I'm like, this is still the version of the book I want to write. So I'm going to stick with this. But I know this might be an issue. And it's something I do kind of want to keep in mind. I definitely want to see how people react to it. And I have gotten reviews that are very much, I wish there was more stuff happening. And I've gotten other reviews that are like, no, it's kind of, it worked as is. Which kind of leads me to the second takeaway I had, which is this is not the first review I've gotten that kind of hit these points. So I don't know if this is a saying that originated with Chris Berman, but it's where I know it from, where he would say, when talking about sports, 1 is an accident, 2 is a trend, 3 is a problem. Like, okay, if it was just like one person, it's still something to kind of keep in mind. But when multiple people bring up the same issue, it's definitely something to think about going forward of, okay, I might get a bit of a pass on book 1, but I need to make sure that the rest of the series, because there is a plot, there is stuff that happens in the remaining books, but there is that, like, okay, I need to make sure that the pacing, I guess that the pacing works. Like that there's enough, I guess there's enough stuff in each book to fill a book, but that it's not just filler, it's not just bloat. There is genuine, real quality and progression, both of the characters and of the story throughout. And it kind of led me to the third takeaway I had, which is this reminds me a lot of my criticisms playing Kai, where this is a game that had a lot of buildup and there was some good payoff, other things not so much. And I'm like, I liked where we got to by the end. And I'm definitely going to get the next one. Again, like I said, technically, then, the next one's Sky again. But, like, I'm going to get the next, I'm going to get the continuation. But I really wish we got there sooner. And so I was really kind of thinking, is there a difference between what I did with orichalcum and what Falcom did with Kai? And yes and no. The yeses being orichalcum's like 330 pages, not 100 hours. So you can at least get through it a lot quicker, and you could get to, I don't want to say the good stuff, because I like a lot of the other like slower moments as well. Like one of my favorite scenes is probably about 100 pages in. And also I really, really do love the prologue. But if you are just kind of looking for the stuff near the end, you can get there a lot quicker. Also, this is the first book. I think some setup can be expected, whereas this is the third game of this arc. Come on. But ultimately, I don't really think that there's a big difference. I feel like, yeah, like I can point to some differences, but ultimately they were very similar. So I've really spent the last few days next after I read that, really contemplating how I want to pace the rest of this series, because there were some books and some kind of arcs and storylines. I'm like, okay, does this really mean anything? Like, I might think it's neat. I can see a reason to include it, but is it really worth including, or is it just bloat? Was it just here to give a character something to do for a book or half a book? Okay, maybe I should cut it. Okay, and then in this book, well, this character storyline makes some progress, but really not a whole lot, especially compared to like the other storylines going on in this book. So what if I took her plot from the next book, just moved it over here, and this other character's plot in a later book, and just cut it because it sucks. And it was just there because, like, if there's an extra book, they should have something to do, even though I've always thought that their story kind of ends around here, and then there's like this other stuff. So while things might change, my current stance is that I'm changing it from 4 books to 3. And I think as a result of that, books 2 and 3 are definitely going to be longer than book 1. I think. Sorry, my neck is like a little stiff. I think as initially planned, they were going to be longer than book 1. I think now they're going to be considerably longer. We'll see how it goes, because again, I don't want to write a long book for the sake of book is long. For me, they're as long as they need to be. And sometimes that's not particularly long. Sometimes, we might have to go on for a while, but in a way that I think really suits the narrative. And so I just kind of want to talk about that. And then, like, having thought about it more, I'm like, yeah, I think this definitely works a lot better. Not just for the sake of, I don't know if I want to say appeasing those, I guess addressing those criticisms. That's definitely the way I'm kind of seeing it. But in terms of that, but also in just the overall, like, structure of the story and the pace and the way that events are kind of supposed to unfold alongside each other. I'm like, no. This actually works a lot better. I kind of like the flow. Because then there's points where, like, some characters are just kind of traveling for a couple days, and there may be not like a whole lot that they're doing. So now this other character's like, here's what I'm doing during that time. I'm doing everything. It's like, this is working. I like it a lot. And so I think it was Monday is when the gears started turning. Tuesday is when they really started turning. I started thinking about it a lot more. And I had a conversation with some people like, okay, like this is where it was. This is now where I'm leaning. And the more I talked through it, I'm like, no, yeah, this is way better. And then yesterday, I actually finally wrote the prologue. I had started it a good while ago. At least in December. I maybe started in November. I don't remember. But I had an idea for, like I said, ow, my neck. But I had an idea for what I wanted to happen in the prologue, and I had written, the couple opening paragraphs, just sort of the notes. And yesterday I really sat down, like, I'm going to write this. It is certainly a first draft. There's definitely some points where I'm like, these feel like almost placeholder sentences, because they're getting the point across, and they're getting, like, from point A to point B in the scene. But I could make this sound better. I can make this flow better. Maybe make it more concise. Maybe make it more conscript. descriptive and compelling. That's what I was trying to say. But even with some of those, like, yeah, first draft is literally a rough draft, there's still a lot in terms of what happens and just some of the descriptions. Like, I would like to share them, but I genuinely don't want to spoil. That's the thing. The prologue, it has nothing to do with what happens in the first book. It has payoff in book 2. It certainly does. It is definitely more of just a world-building chapter and introducing something that's gonna happen later on in the book. So talking about it would not spoil what happens in book 1, but I don't really want to spoil what happens in the chapter. And I mean, I might just be unnecessarily building it up. I'm like, I like it, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I might tinker with it some more today, to try to iron out some of those kinks. I remember there was a post I saw the other day, and it was something like blacksmith. Yeah, it's like I just finished the sword, but now I got to work all the kinks out. Sword, I like feet. Blacksmith, shut up. Like, it made me laugh really hard. But I'll probably try to like iron out some of the kinks with it, although as I learned from book 1, a lot of that is just going to come through multiple drafts of like read throughs of the whole dang thing. But I'd like to do some of that. I definitely have some eyelaying that I want to make sure I try to get done today. I might go ahead and start some other Orichalcum chapters. I might start Octopath 2. But I think what I'm about to do, my tentative plan was, as I had said in part 1, I specifically wore a Pokemon shirt because I wanted to do a Pokemon video. So I think I'm going to try to do that here in a few minutes. I might go get like a pillow or something. Like, my back and my neck are really killing me. But I think that's it. So sorry for the weirdness that these were like 2 separate videos and like this weird angle, because I couldn't record in the car anymore. It was too hot, I guess. Which I did notice during part 1 is like, I'm sweating. It says it's 67 degrees and it's February. Why am I sweating? But like, sorry for the weirdness, but I am just gonna go ahead and still upload them as, I guess, 2 separate videos. Like, here's part 1 and part 2. But y'all have a good day. Talk to you later. Take care of yourself.